Hey guys, I think I mentioned I might do this today, and I'm doing it because the inspectors still haven't arrived. And when they do arrive, my dogs are a lot calmer when mommy's talking because they're used to this. They're actually sleeping right now, and I pray they sleep through the inspection. I put the check out there. I opened up the side door so they can get in easily. So I figured I would do the next chapter. We did chapter 2 on chapter 1 on June 26th, before all this stuff started happening. Well, during all this stuff started happening. Chapter 2 I just published on first chapter was the right to be rich. Okay, so you can go watch that video. It's already up on my channel. Chapter 2 was, Lord help me, on July 31st. So on June 26th, the end of the month in June, then July 31st, we published chapter 2. There is a science to getting rich. You have a right to be rich. There's a science to getting rich. Now we're going to cover chapter 3, is opportunity monopolized. It says, no one person is kept poor because opportunity has been taken away from him, because other people have monopolized the wealth and have put a fence around it. You may decide not to engage in certain kinds of businesses, but there are other channels open to you. At different periods, the tide of opportunity moves in different directions according to the needs of the whole and to the particular stage of social evolution which has been reached. There is an abundance of opportunity for the man or woman who will go with the tide instead of trying to swim against it. There is an abundance of opportunity for the man or woman who will go with the tide instead of trying to swim against it. Office workers, either as individuals or as a group, are not deprived of opportunity. The workers are not being kept down by their masters, by the powers of big business and the conglomerates. As a group, they are where they are because they do things in a certain way. When it begins to do things in a certain way, the working class can become the master class. The law of wealth is the same for it is as for all other groups. Workers will remain where they are as long as they continue to do as they do. The individual worker, however, is not held down by the ignorance or the mental slothfulness of his class. He can follow the tide of opportunity to riches. This book will tell him how. No one is kept in poverty by a shortness in the supply of riches. There is more than enough for us all. A palace as large as the Capitol at Washington could be built for every family on earth from the building material available in the United States alone. Under intensive cultivation, this country could produce enough wool, cotton, linen, silk, and food to clothe and feed each person in the world. The visible supply is practically inexhaustible, and the invisible supply really is inexhaustible. Everything you see on earth is made from one original substance, out of which all things proceed. New forms are constantly being made, and older ones are dissolving, but all are shapes assumed by one thing. There is no limit to the supply of the formless stuff, which is our faith, or original substance, which is God's kingdom. The universe is made out of it, but it was not all used in making the universe. The spaces in, through, and between the forms of the visible universe are permeated and filled with the original substance, with the formless stuff, with the raw material of all things. 10,000 universes can still be made, and even then the supply of the universal raw material will not be exhausted. No person, therefore, is poor because nature is poor or because there is not enough to go around. Nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of riches. The supply will never run short. Original substance is alive with creative energy and is constantly producing more forms. When the supply of building material is exhausted, more will be produced. When the soil is exhausted, so that foodstuffs and materials for clothing will no longer grow upon it, it will be renewed, or some soil will be made. When all the gold and silver has been dug from the earth, if human beings are still in such a stage of social development as to need gold and silver, more will be produced from the formless. The formless stuff responds to the needs of the humans. It will not let them be without any good thing, as the birds are chirping right outside my window. This is true of man collectively. The race as a whole is always abundantly rich. If individuals are poor, it is because they do not follow a certain way of doing things, which makes the individual man rich. The formless stuff is intelligent, which I believe is faith, when you connect with God, and however you believe God to be. I connect through Jesus only. The race as a whole is always abundantly rich. If individuals are poor, it is because they do not follow a certain way. The formless stuff is intelligent. It is material which thinks. It is alive and is always impelled toward more life. It is the natural and inherent impulse of life to seek to live more. It is the nature of intelligence to enlarge itself and the quality of consciousness to seek to extend its boundaries and find fuller expression. The universe of forms has been made by the formless living substance throwing itself into form in order to express itself more fully. The universe is a great living presence, always moving inherently toward more life and fuller functioning. Nature is formed for the advancement of life. Its motive is the increase of life. For this reason, everything which can possibly minister to life is bountifully provided. There can be no lack unless God is to contradict himself and nullify his own works. You are not kept poor by a shortness in the supply of riches. I shall demonstrate a little further on that even though the resources of the formless supply are at the command of any man or woman who will act and think in a certain way. Isn't that amazing? I just thought that was worthy to put into thought, because they're always trying to make you think lack. Like, the environment is lacking, that there's always lack, and there is no lack in God's kingdom. What does it say about the birds? That bird that was on my feeder and chirped, he says, the sparrow doesn't spin or worry about his food. He provides abundantly, right? So what do you think about this? Comment down below. Do you like this book? I'm doing this because I know some people are lacking, so at least you can improve your mindset. The next chapter is chapter 4, the first principle in the science of getting rich. And what is that? I'll give you a sneak peek. That is, thought is the only power which can produce tangible riches from the formless substance. The stuff from which all things are made is substance which thinks. A thought of form in this substance produces the form. Original substance moves according to its thoughts. Guys, I am excited about chapter 4. I can't wait to do that video for you. Comment down below if you like this and if you're excited for chapter number 4, or are you going to be on the live stream tonight at 5 to celebrate that this thing is done? God bless.